Hey guys, welcome back to Flying S Models. I've been doing a lot of kit build features lately, but I just got in this new biplane jig from Vertigo Models. It's intended for 1/32nd and 1/24th biplanes. I thought we could do a quick review of what's inside, maybe build it up, and see how well it works. I posted a link in the video description below, so you can take a look at that if you're interested in picking one of these up or one of their other models. Let's take a look inside. Looks like it's got some instructions, basic plastic contents. Let's see what else we got here. Where I ordered it from, Victory Models. Looks like some little rubber bumpers. Set of nuts and screws. And some felt, which will probably line the plastic surface so when you set the model down on it, it doesn't scratch the paint. Looks like there's 20 some odd pieces maybe, and so let's get those unwrapped. Let's take a look at how it goes together. Alright, we can see here a number of acrylic pieces. Looks like they've got an angle gauge etched into these pieces here on the side. So this little diagram here has it number 4, shows there's like a T shape. I think that's 1, 4, and 7 are actually the top view of this diagram here, which actually would show the top of the vertical piece and the little 90-degree piece here from the top. You can see the part doesn't actually look like that. There's no marking except for 4 etched marks here, which I think they're alignment marks for these sides here. And then I think this would go like right here. Yeah, something like that. And the plastic parts also have their protective coating on them, so make sure you peel that off before you glue it in place. And the instructions say to use either CA or 5-minute epoxy. I think I'll go with the CA here just to see how it works. And a little CA here. Install that piece. I want to make sure I get the 90-degree in there as well. Make sure that part is square. So let's move that out of the way. Looks like it's setting up pretty well. Go ahead and get that in there. It's kind of a pain in the neck here. The little stops that are etched in don't actually work well to hold everything exactly where it's supposed to be, but I think that's good enough. Some of it's just a little difficult to actually build and video at the same time, but that's pretty good. Let's see, let me see if I can straighten this out just a touch without getting my hands glued on it, which always seems to happen. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Yeah, that ain't great at all. I'm really happy with that. God, it's choking pain, man. Alright, that's decent. There's a little step here because where the stops are, actually a little bit forward of that, but we'll see if that works. Let me put some accelerator on that. Lock it in place. So that was kind of a pain in the neck actually to build these three kind of glue spots here, but I guess structurally they're okay. It'll be easier for you when you're making them because you're not going to be videotaping and trying to build at the same time, sort of working behind the camera. But so you'll do a cleaner job. But hey, look, it's they're structurally great, and they'll work fine. Now I think from here it's just a matter of inserting the nuts and bolts in the various places and building this thing up. So let's throw these things out here and start assembling that. We can just install the carriage bolts, washer, and then the wing nut. Threads are pretty tight. It's not threading down really easy, but okay, like that. And then now they can be loosened and slid, wherever you want to place them to support the model. So I'll tighten it down there. I'll put the other one in. Like so. So I've got all three support arms on now. Now we can install, since this is a biplane jig, we can install the lower support arm here that would be used to hold the lower wing, and then there's an upper one that goes up here. So let me install those now. More of these screws. These are bad. These little carriage bolts and wing nuts, they're not really good. Let me add a little lube and see if that fixes anything. That's just way too tight. They have problems with these screws. I'm gonna have to go either run a die across them and cut them again. Okay, so now I've got both the upper and lower wing support arms installed on this upper beam. This side I can't install yet because of these cheap carriage bolts and wing nuts that actually have some thread problems. So I'm going to go run a tap and die across those and through those, and then I'll come back and install those. And then when I get those installed, we can cut and line the arms with some of this felt, and then install the little rubber bumpers too. So this is one of those modeler's moments, or really just stupid guy moments. I told myself not to do it, but I went ahead and did it anyway. I thought I was being careful. I was trying to chase the threads on that carriage bolt with the using this part actually to brace it, and as I was turning the die, it just cracked this. So don't repeat that mistake that I did. I'm going to glue it back together, but do yourself a favor and just go buy new carriage bolts and washers, because a couple of these in here are junk and the threads are boogered up. So just get some new ones. So here's the completed, well, here's the almost completed jig. Right now it's a monoplane support because I can't put these support arms on because of those crappy carriage bolts. But I'll have to go to the supply store and grab some of those so I can put those on later. I will come back in later and put this felt padding on top of these little support arms, and then back here at this rear cradle as well. But let's take a look and see. It says it's for a 1/32 and 1/24 biplane. I've got a little Fokker DR1 I'm working on. It's a really short wingspan, but let's move these babies in here, tighten them down, and let's just see how well it works. Here's a little DR1 that's in work. Man, gotta move it in a good bit more. There we go. So you can see there, it actually would help support the lower wings. If I had the other support arms for the upper wings, I could slide those in there and have those support as well. One thing I did notice is that this slot here, when I had the carriage bolt in, this slot, which the other carriage bolt rides in, is actually pretty tight, and the carriage bolt doesn't move that freely up and down. So it may need to be sanded in here to open that up just a little bit to allow these things to slide a little bit easier up and down. So that may be something to think about in the future. So there you go. That's Vertigo's basic 1/32 and 1/24 biplane jig. I'll take my lumps for dorking up these lower support pieces here. They've got to take credit, or blame I should say, for the carriage bolts, because that's ridiculous. We can't even get good quality carriage bolts in there. Also, the instructions, I did rush to make the video, and I didn't study the instructions as long as I should have. Make sure to do that. Some actual better photographs of the assembled jig would be nice to include, as well as the sheet instructions here. But for those of you who go out and buy one of these, you can just take a look at the assembly here, and that'll give you an idea of how it should be assembled without the mistakes that I made. So again, let me walk through it. We've got the lower piece here, flat piece that has the markings on it, and we have the larger piece here with the angle markings on it, is attached to it with this right angle support brace, short side to the bottom, long side to the top. I appreciate you hanging in there with me as I reviewed and assembled this Vertigo support jig. I'm not 100% sure it was worth the $45 I paid for it yet. I'll have to use it a little bit more. I actually have been able to get this far on the DR1 without the jig, but I'll see if I can use it. It isn't that great for small biplanes. I've got this thing put to the innermost area here, and you can see it just barely holds the wing of the DR1, which again was a very small triplane, so it'd do just fine for 1/32 biplanes. Thanks for joining me here at the channel. I hope this review was informative for you. Make sure to subscribe and check me out on Facebook. We'll see you next time.